Things aren't usually as they first appear. Sure, there's always that 1 in 25 deals that comes right out and says everything. But usually it takes a lot of value building, pressure cooking, and genuine empathy before a seller will ever tell you what really is going on.
We're calling you with regards to offering us cash for our house.
How much would you like to get for the house?
We were told that we could get up to 510 for the house.
And do you know where you're moving to?
We're not sure.
About 2,100 square foot, 2-car garage. It's got a pool. You guys thinking about listing the house with a realtor, or you were kind of hoping to sell it a little bit easier than that?
We were going to feel it both ways.
I would look at it, kind of get the information, make you an offer. If you like that offer, I could send you a contract. If you wanted to think about it, you could think about it. If you didn't like it, no sweat.
So how soon can you make us an offer?
I could probably make you an offer in the next, 20, 30 minutes, and then I could call you back with a number. And if you like that number, I could come out with a contract, or I could email it over to you. Or if you thought we were close, I could come out and take a look and meet with you.
It's a great shape.
Great shape. What kind of countertops do you have?
Or granite.
Granite, okay.
Cabinets were redone. All the appliances stainless steel and brand new. A lot of people are surprised that we've been here this long and have kept the house, in such a pristine condition.
And I'll do a little homework right now and give you a call here a little bit closer to noon.
Okay, yeah, great. I look forward to it. Joshua. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Ada.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Oh, good. How was your workout?
Good, excellent.
Awesome. Well, I took a look at your property. Unfortunately, I'd be a long, long ways from 510. I think even if you were to sell it with a realtor, I think you'd be pretty hard-pressed to get that much for it. They might want to tell you that they think they can get you that much because, of course, they're trying to make a commission even if you end up dropping the price later. Without seeing the house, I might have a little bit of flexibility, but I'd want to be closer to 380.
Oh, no, I can't do 380. That's way too low for me.
I mean, how close to that would you even entertain?
Not very, no. I gotta be at least in the mid-range of the 400.
Yeah, I think mid-400s is a very realistic retail number, but of course you'd be walking away with quite a bit less after the realtor fees and the stress and the time and everything else.
Yeah, no, 380 is not gonna work for us. We gotta do something. Even if we spend a little money with the realtor, I think that's probably gonna be a relevant thing.
Yeah, I mean, that might end up being the way to get, top dollar for it. But again, I think, 450 is probably about as high retail as you're going to get.
No, that's okay, Josh. We're probably going to keep looking. I mean, we don't have that much time, but we're going to be, we're probably going to go the route and take the realtor because we really need to, move it up. And I know we're not going to get 510 for it, but I want to get closer to the higher end of the 4.
Unless you're going to put a whole bunch of money into yours, I don't know. And then even after you put that money, you got to recoup that, and then you pay all the realtor's fees and stuff. I mean, I think you're going to be hard pressed to walk away with anything higher than 4.25. And I might be able to get closer to that number. Seeing the house, of course, I'd like to buy it at 380, but I think even on your end, and like I said, realtors are going to tell you whatever you want to hear. They just want to get a listing out of it. They don't really lose anything if it doesn't sell, and their hope is that, if you end up having to drop the price later, when it does sell, they're going to make their 3% either way.
Do you think that you can at least bring it up to like 450?
No, I think at 450, that'd be like all the money that anybody would pay if they're getting a loan. They're probably going to want you to pay their closing costs, so that's another 3% on top of the realtor fees. I don't think you're going to walk away with more than 4.25, even if you go with the realtor. There's going to be realtors out there that'll tell you that they think you can get more and that'll list it for more. But at the end of the day, you're going to be waiting for somebody that's actually going to come in and buy it. And I don't think that's going to happen and you're going to walk away with more than 4.25. Retail. That's the dollar figure I think maybe you could walk away with best case scenario after, you go through the hassle of making it show ready and dealing with showings and talking to realtors and negotiating with offers and then having them do their little reinspection period where they try to renegotiate again and all that hoopla. And I realize we're a long ways apart. I'm just trying to shoot you straight so you don't spin your wheels.
Okay, let me talk to my husband. Let me ask you another question. Can we at least, if you're willing to do 380, are you willing to do at least 400?
I could probably squeeze to 400 right now just because of the position I'm in and I like the area. But my clock's ticking. I've got less than a week to find something. I'm just looking at another house on Friday I'm going back to that's right here by Horizon High School. It's a little bit farther west than I like, but it is here in Scottsdale, kind of in the Kierland area. They're offering me a really, really good deal on it. I like your location better, but if you guys would do the 400 and you think you could have an answer to me by then, I would definitely take a close look at it, and I might be able to get to 400. And that'd be a cash, as is, no BS, no re-inspecting, no nothing, just, you pick the date and we're good.
Okay, then that means we have no fees and none of that stuff.
Correct.
No closing fees and none of that, right?
Yeah, absolutely, that's correct.
Yeah. Okay, give me a couple hours and I'll give you a call.
Okay, that sounds perfect. I'll be right here on my cell phone. If I don't answer, just leave me a message and I'll call you right back.
Yeah, give me a little bit because I'll get in contact with him, within the hour or so. He's just still working out.
Okay.
Once he gets out, I'll give you a call and see, what he says.
Sounds like a plan.
And this is something that we have to do right away, though, because you said you have to spend your money right away.
Correct. I'm kind of up against the timeline here, especially with, I've got a week in total, but the other house, I've got to make a decision with them on Friday. I would much rather be able to buy yours if we could agree to a price, but I don't want to go past that and lose theirs. No, you could pick whatever date you wanted that we could close. We would just need to get it in escrow.
Let me talk to him and see what, because I'm just no hassle kind of person. If I can't get a no hassle deal, let's shoot for it. And I hate to have to deal with realtors. I hate to deal with people walking to my house. I hate all that.
Absolutely. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm the same way. I'm a straight shooter.
Yeah, I just want to do an easy peasy kind of thing. That's it,
That as long as we can agree on a price, we can definitely do an easy peasy thing.
Okay, so let me talk to my husband. He might say, good. He might say, give it a little bit more, I don't know, whatever. But I'll just tell him what we spoke about, and then I'll be back.
Okay, Ava, that sounds great.
Okay, Josh.
Thanks.
Bye.
Holy smokes. So you guys remember on the first call, she told me she wanted $510,000 and I came out and offered her $130,000 less, $380,000. Like in the mind, that's almost like $200,000. We're going from 5s to 3s. And she quickly goes down to $450,000. That's the power of third asking price, guys. Never take seriously what a seller says they want until you've made that offer. Then they start to get real. Now, pay special attention to how I put pressure on a retail sale and build so much value in a wholesale transaction as I continue to close the gap. And do you remember on the first call how she said that they didn't know where they were moving? Watch as she changes the story big time by telling me that they are currently underway with a new build in Florida. And shortly after that, she gets into the real objection, which I'm then able to overcome because I discover it. Here we go.
Yeah. Hey, it's Josh. How are you? I didn't hear from you, so I'm assuming your husband didn't like that, or am I wrong?
I was going to call you, but, I kind of gave him a little while to think about it again. So we're going to go retail, we're just going to go, where else is discouraged and have people, look at the house and see how much money we can get.
I mean, I was being super aggressive just because of my situation. If I can get up to that 400 you were talking about, I mean, honestly, with all the costs and all the energy that's going to go into it and the comps that you're up against, and even if you get somebody that loves it and is willing to pay it because the money's coming from their bank anyways, then it's got to appraise out. I mean, do you know how close to that he would do so that you guys don't have to go through all that? I mean, could we, just close this bridge? So I certainly don't want anybody to do a deal that, that they're not comfortable with. I want, but I mean, really, I feel like it's a very competitive offer.
Yeah, but we need more because we owe the bank a lot of times. We refinanced last year.
Uh-huh.
So we owe the bank $272,000.
Well, then, of course, I mean, you guys are going to you're going to have a huge, if not majority of your new ones going to be cash. So you're going to owe probably less on what you buy than what you owe on, the Scottsdale house. I mean, you guys are going to have a ton of equity in that. And whatever, if you're going down in price range where the market gets hotter, you could end up paying 10, 15, 20 grand more for the house you buy, and then just kind of offsets, the one you're selling. So it's almost like the stars have to align. That's what, just doing all the math of it, even if I was on your end, I'm like, I think I probably would be saving you a ton of time, and it'd be great for both of us just because of the timing. But there is that other one I was telling you about over here in Kierland tomorrow that, so it's not like I'm totally screwed here if I don't buy yours, but the location of yours is so much better that I'm literally maxing out and kind of going above what I think most would go, anyways, and it's cash. We don't have to worry about appraisals or anything. There is no costs and fees and realtors and time and stress and then the flexibility it gives you guys with finding what you guys want to buy. You sit in the driver's seat, which is, even if you get full retail for yours, trying to line all that up, unless you plan on paying 2 mortgages and just completely moving out into the new one, buying that without having the down payment. But just situationally alone, is probably, a cost of $10,000 or $12,000, if not just pure misery.
Right. I agree with you. I'm like that. I'm the easy come person, but Mom's like.
No, I get that too. I'm just hoping you'll kind of, hey sweetheart, this is what I think we're gonna, what this is gonna look like. I mean, obviously you guys both have the same goal to get as much money for the house as possible.
But I'm willing to leave on the table. Want to get $200,000 for the sake of my peace of mind, in which he's not. He's willing to fight it tooth and nail to get that extra $3,000.
But we're talking about a $400,000 house here, not so the margin of error alone is way bigger than $2,000-$3,000. And honestly, I think, based on the original numbers, sounds like what he's trying to get to. At the end of the day, what the market's going to bring, whether it's me with my cash, paying close to retail, or an actual retail buyer, I don't think it's going to pencil out in you guys' favor. I mean, unless it's just going the action that, hey, we tried, makes him feel that much better. I think it's a lot that he should definitely be considering. That's why I say, if we can bridge this gap, I'm already kind of maxing myself out here in price. But I don't want to walk away from a deal over $2 or $3 grand. If it's $2 or $3 grand, free trip to California on me, because that is a lot of money. But if I got to come up to 402, 403, I mean, that's something I'd probably be able to come out to the house and confirm and, okay, here you go.
We have somebody that was coming at 408, and he rejected that offer as well.
I mean, 408's like a lot of trips. Would he do 408? Oh my gosh, you guys would be beating me up, but you know my position.
And we both have to be in the same page. This is just something that's too big not to be in the same page.
Well, no, that's for sure. I just, by the time he gets to the page, he might be going, damn it, why'd I do that? And that's pretty much what I know is going to happen. So literally just trying to be blunt too to, save you guys all the pain. And I know, like you're saying, it's, you'd probably do it now because you're ready to be able to go find the new house you're going to be moving into. I mean, that's the thing. And I don't know, how much he values that. Maybe he just doesn't want to move. But if he does, it's like, okay, now you guys have got your house sold. You know how much you're getting. You've got a huge 6-figure sum of cash, almost a couple times over. And you can go find exactly what you want, and you guys are in a huge position of power on whatever you're buying. You've already got the money ready to go. You can close, and then, I don't normally feel super comfortable doing like where we close and then you've got a week or two to move out. But, in certain situations when it's a house like this and I talk to someone like you and I've talked and kind of gotten to know each other, I'd probably even be comfortable with, I got to pencil it in that, okay, I got to wait 2 weeks to do anything with the house. But, knowing what your situation is, that, hey, we close, you find the house you're buying, then you pick a date.
We definitely have the house we're buying. We're definitely moving. We have the house. It's being built. We're still Florida.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's in Florida, you said?
Florida. We want to be at this house by the end of October.
Okay, see, I got it confused. I didn't realize you guys are having a house built as we speak in Florida. That's exciting. Oh, that's fantastic. It's in Florida, you said?
Right, we're building at the Clothier.
What part of Florida are you moving to?
We're moving to Fort Myers.
That's awesome. Alright, well, here's the thing. You put it on the market and it doesn't sell, that clock's ticking. And then waiting for an appraisal and inspection, the renegotiation period. Your husband seems like a straight shooter, not like the type that, okay, they make us an offer and then 7 days later they come back and they ask us for all this other stuff. And that's just kind of the world we're in right now in the retail market, thanks to all these realtors. It drives me nuts when I go to sell them. In fact, the last one that we sold, I actually just sold it to a cash buyer myself. It was kind of in a similar but different situation to me, where I felt good, it was a good offer, and I looked at what they're selling for, and I thought, but you know what, I don't want to wait 3 months. I don't have there's definitely some variables here where this could not work out in my favor, and I know if I go with realtors, it's going to take forever, it's going to be a pain in the neck. They're going to have their buyer do their inspector, and then they need more access, and then they come back and beat me up about stuff that gives me anxiety that I know is fine. Well, the other offer was at 408. Would you see how close to that he can get? And if it's a couple bucks, I think at the end of the day, it's going to be less than that 408, 410 number, and it's going to take months. And God forbid you guys move and it's still not sold. Now you're paying 2 mortgages. Versus if you could do this, I don't know where you're at on the financing of the new one, but you might just be able to wrap it all in one. And if you close once instead of twice, with a lender, the closing costs of the title company aren't very expensive. So like selling your house to us, and we'll actually pay all those closing costs. We're talking about a net number to you. But if you close on your new house and then you get the money from your old house because it took longer to sell and you had to do this and that and multiple buyers and that whole pain in the butt story, and then you want to refinance it and put some of that cash into it, what the lender charges is huge. So unless you want to just get the higher loan with the higher payment and then just make a huge payment after you get it, but that won't drop your payment. Your payment will still be based off of the original amount. You know what I mean? Which in the long run will save you a couple bucks in interest, but it's going to be a higher payment until you refinance by a ton of money because, all that money that you're making on this house in Scottsdale, putting into your new loan is going to drop that payment, majority of the loan. The loan, you're probably looking at double the loan, you know what I mean, if you just get the one loan. So then in order to refinance, drop the payment, you're looking at probably $5, $6, $7 grand minimum in appraisals and loan costs and points and origination fees. Plus another $3 grand to the title company again to close the refi. So I just... is he around today, or are you guys together that you can kind of talk again and say, how close to this can we do, and that we're happy, we know it's sold, we know we're not going to lose on one of these other 15 things that cannot go our direction. Even if the stars align, we're pretty much at a very close number anyways. And usually the stars don't all align when there's that many things.
He won't be home till after 5.
Okay.
To be honest with you, if you don't hear from me by today, assume that, it's not a go.
There's got to be a go. I can't. No, you just got to tell me the number, because there's no way with your situation and my situation, there's no way we don't put this deal together. There's just not. We're too close. Unless he's just so stubborn, it would be foolish. With our situation, it's a perfect scenario. You got somebody that wants that neighborhood, that knows that neighborhood.
You don't know what husband.
But I know you, and I'm sure you can get some sense into him. And just start having him do the math.
I just want to take a quick moment and congratulate you. You're still here watching, bettering yourself and bettering your wholesale business. If you're getting something out of this, please hit that little like button down there. Then on the other side, click subscribe, and next to it, tap that little bell, and you're going to get notifications every time we drop a new episode. Also, let me know in the comments what market you're in, and leave the word in all caps, committed, and let's do this together.
And what's the highest you'll go so that I can counter offer?
I think you should have ran with that offer at 408 if, in fact, they were going to close, because it's the nature of real estate, right? 50% of transactions that go under contract don't close. If I could get back to that offer, 410 would probably be my insane max tops. We're talking a retail number. I think at the end of the day, I think you sell this house for maybe 4.25, and then you're actually losing money if you don't take my offer, right? And if you get lucky and someone's willing to pay a little bit more than that, you still have to hope that it appraises out. And not to mention all the other things with the move.
We have a contract that I haven't signed yet with a realtor, and because that's where he wants to go that route. But I feel really strong about what I can do. To avoid all this headache. And if you can get me a move in whenever I'm more comfortable.
Yeah.
Because I know you just gotta close the deal.
Yeah, my time restraint is only to identify and put in escrow. So you could literally customize the date, and even if you needed to change it in a couple weeks, it wouldn't be any skin off my back.
And then I think my selling point is that I don't have to move anything out of here to a storage facility. I don't have to station it, have everybody to look at. I don't have to be over real estate.
And that wasn't even counting moving and all this showings and all the stuff you'd have to do, because you guys live there.
I was telling my husband, we keep things in storage right there alone. Even if we get a little storage, facility that we have looking at, they're in charge of like $200 and something a month for just boxes, because we don't even have furniture, right?
Yeah.
The furniture was not, or was given it away. And I got a room, my guest room, is almost twice the size of the storage facility that we're going to pay monthly. And I'm like, I gotta save that money, put my boxes in the storage, with storage in our room. We have quality control, we have control of our air conditioning, 24 hours a day.
Yeah. And now your stuff doesn't get broken or damaged being transferred. You can box it up right there, and it gets moved one time.
Move it once, and that's only 4 hours.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. It just seems like a no-brainer to me, Ada.
I think if you hear this from somebody else.
And I'd be happy to jump on the phone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because right now, in my room, like I said, I mentioned my room, the guest room, our guest room is perfect. Where you want to pay almost $200, not almost, more than $200 a month for storage. And I just said, what is the hospital house in a month? 1, 2, 1, 3,
And the thing is too, even if it's sold in 1 month, which is highly unlikely, especially in that price range, then on top of that, you're going to be waiting on the inspector and the appraisal and the loan to close, underwriting and all that stuff. So you're talking a 2-month period. So even like stars aligning is typically almost 3 months when you sell retail.
Yeah.
And trying to time everything is just.
Okay, I'm going to talk to my manager one more time.
All right.
I'm going to go, and I'm going to go, you're going to have to back me up on this because if it's less than that, if it's less than 480, 408, you're not going to go for it. So we say, let's say, and I know we think your high end is 410, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we do 410, I'm going to tell him where he went on to 410.
I mean, that's something that I would 100% back you up and tell him that that's something he should feel really good about. Like, I'm a little uncomfortable with it, you know what I mean? And what it's worth to me as far as...
It's got great phones. We take good care of it. I mean, granted, we still have the same air conditioning and stuff, but we always maintain it. We always change the filters every 3 months. Constant and very careful. I mean, we got landscapers coming in every 4 months. I mean, we really...
Just the drive alone to this house versus the other one and what that will save me every time I got to go out to it is, you know, I can't, I'm not going to walk away from this deal over a couple $1,000.
Yeah.
So I just want Francisco to feel good about it, you know?
Yeah, and I feel good about doing that, to be honest, because it was just so headache alone, like I said. It's worth it to me. It's really worth it to me.
Uh-huh. now trying to get anything done is super expensive and super hard because the economy is good. So, and then if you don't get all that money back, it's just, not only did it take more time.
And who knows if you do all that, that person's going to come and remodel it because that's not what they want.
Yeah, you're shooting turkey, especially in that price range. Whereas I'm like, the way it is fine.
I'm telling you, Josh, everything looks, clean and neat. So we're neat freaks. We really are. And everything looks really neat and clean. And they go up and they say, oh, we'll keep this here. So they go, we didn't need it almost 20 years. 20 years? Oh my God.
Well, and I appreciate all that and how you guys have took care of it, and just even dealing with you. I know that we'll have an easy escrow, and even if you guys got to change the date once or twice or whatever, it's just going to be a simple, smooth transaction. I know exactly what's going on your end. And
Walk us through what the transaction was.
so we would sign a simple, we've got a really easy to read, it doesn't have a whole bunch of attorney language or anything like that. It just says, we're buying the house for this much cash. We're paying all the closing costs, so all the association transfer fees, all that stuff you normally pay as a seller, we're paying that all, so that the amount we agree to is going in your pocket. And it says we're not going to ask you to fix anything, and this is the closing date, and then we send that over to the title company. We put down the deposit that they require so that they'll start pulling all the stuff from the county, because that costs them a little bit of money. So we cover everything with the earnest money deposit. And then we just wait till you say, Josh, okay, the movers are pulling out on this day, and then we would close, either a day before that or whatever.
Who gets the earnest money deposit?
What's that?
Who gets the earnest money deposit?
All of it goes to the sale. So let's say it's $1,000, just for example, then that goes into the title company. If we end up breaching the contract, they send that money directly to you. When we close, which is what will happen, they apply that towards the sales price. So we don't lose that deposit, like I said, unless we were to breach it. But in addition to covering their upfront stuff, it also protects you guys in the form of a deposit that we're not just going to walk away from, but that we're actually closing. So you're in the driver's seat. You've got a done deal that you know is going to close. The only thing that could stand in the way is if the house caught on fire or were to flood, between now and the time you move out. And we even address that, and it says that if that is to happen, that we have the option to close anyways and just take the insurance money. But then you guys got a done deal, and life is simple. You're getting a great offer on your house that's paying, a premium for it being a cash offer. A house is the type of house that I'm looking for, and it's close to my house, easy to get to, close to my office, all those types of things, and it makes your move perfect. So I feel like it's just a win-win-win, and I hope that he'll see that so that he feels good about it, that he's also getting the win here on the price. Because truly, I would feel like I'm kind of at the max of my comfort zone, but I would be really happy to own that house. And that's the thing that's most important for me.
I would love it to go for somebody that appreciates, the bone structure, the area, the great neighborhood. Everybody here is nice.
Well, talk to me. As soon as you talk to him, give me a shout. If you end up talking to him by any chance earlier, I'll be around. But you've got my cell phone number, so as soon as I see it's you, I'll answer. And if for any reason I can't answer, I'll call you right back right away.
Okay, I will. And what I can do, is there a way that you can, because last is a face-to-face coming on, He's old school.
Yep. Yeah, well, 100% I can come over. I could come in, if you guys are on board, I can come over tonight or in the morning, because I wasn't supposed to go to the other one until, time's my appointment, 1 o'clock, to go back over there and finalize it with them. I would love nothing more than to come, do the deal with you guys, sign that first, and call them and say, hey, sorry, because they're aware of the location discrepancy for me, and they're offering me a sweet deal. That's one where I'd honestly be like, oh my gosh, I got such a great price, but location's more important than me than price in this case. So I would love nothing more than to be able to cancel that appointment and go to the title company and open escrow tomorrow, with my deposit check and the contract after getting your husband tomorrow. And I could even come over this evening.
Okay, well, let me see that you grab it on the way out of the gym.
Okay. Or today, I mean, I'll drop what I'm doing and come if we can put this together.
Because he's helpful, you know, he's the handshake kind of guy, handshake him.
Well, I'm sure if we meet, we'll get along great, because that's how I am. I don't like all the BS, and, you know, that's what the retail stuff, why it all drives me so crazy these days.
Yeah, and if you could just tell him, look at the things that you're going to say. You're going to give us storage. You don't have to move out. You don't have to look at you're ready to move out. We don't have to worry about putting in a marketing, and taking photos and having photographers and staging. None of that, because those are the kind of things that you need to tell us so that he can hear it other than from me.
Yeah.
You know? And tell him, this is the best way you put this, because we want to put the house at 479. That's the highest. I know we're not going to get that. I know we're not. But let's say they drop it, right? Let's say we give them an incentive. We give them, I don't know, $10,000 upgrade, you know, whatever credit, right?
And the problem with that is you're almost turkey shooting, because honestly, in that price range, $10,000 is kind of peanuts. So when you're overpriced, you know what I mean, nobody really sees it as a big deal. Now, if you're selling a $150,000 house, which is almost impossible to find right now in Phoenix, then all of a sudden someone's like, oh my gosh, you know, and they're super excited. But in this price range, you know, you got to be...
It's what I'm telling my husband.
Right.
That's suppose even if we did that, we're not going to drop them. We're not going to give it, say, $469. I said, no, we're probably going to get $449 if we're lucky.
If you're lucky. The way I penciled it out would have you, if I were in you guys' shoes, is probably walking away with $400 to $420. If it's $420, minus the double move costs, the storage, the staging, the realtors, the photos, all that stuff, you're still walking away with less than I offer. And if it's $400 that you're walking away with in your pocket, minus all that other stuff, now you're going, oh my God, why didn't we do that deal with that guy that really wanted this house, you know what I mean, and had cash? That's why I'm saying I think it's a huge win for you guys. Because either way, you're probably coming out the same or better.
Yeah, I think so too. And like I said, the whole thing that I don't have to move anything, and then I just stay here, I'm not ready to move.
Can you imagine if you put a dollar value on not having to deal with all the people, not having to worry about the time, not having to move twice, stress, deal with vendors?
Just a matter of now trying to convince, you know, Mr. Frank.
Yeah.
Whether or not we can do this.
Well, yeah, I'm more than happy to come meet with Frank. I can come out there anytime and, you know, talk to him about all this stuff. No storage, no photos, no putting it on the market, no realtors and staging, and, you know, we got to work harder and not smarter.
Right.
You know, and I get emotional on my properties too, you know what I mean? But, you know, and so we all want to win, but I think it's just a matter of, you know, him kind of thinking through it, slowing down for a minute and going, okay, realistically the stars probably aren't going to align, and even if they do, how close to that am I from being able to avoid all of that and focus on the new house and the move to Florida and, you know, family and friends and everything else, you know, staying in shape, and, you know, that's more fun and more important anyway.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to call them and I'm going to say, hey, I'll tell them that I already made an appointment with you. So let's say, I don't know, can we say, what time is it, 1? Let's see if you can make it around here. If he's still in the area, I think 3 o'clock is a good time.
Yeah, I'm 10 minutes away. I could do 3 o'clock. It's perfect.
Okay, let's shoot for 3. And then if there's any, you know, if he gives me any grief that tells me to cancel, then I'll call you back.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, David. Talk to you real soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So here we are. I spent all this time with this seller, and you spent all this time watching these videos. So if you've gotten something out of this, please let me know in the comments. And I found out that the real story is they have a new build being built in Florida. They don't want to make payments twice. They want to maximize what they can get for their house, of course, but she's stressed out about storage and all these other things. And the real issue is her husband. So did you see how she actually pulled me onto her team and started telling me, Josh, this is what you need to tell my husband when you come out here. So come back for episode 3 and see what I do with the appointment to get this deal, and then I'll walk you through the disposition. And if you didn't watch part 1 of this series, where I qualified the seller and got us up to the point where this video started, go back and watch part 1 now so you're ready for part 3.